Hello YouTube. So I've got my film crew out today to give you a little tour of my van, which I've had for 3 years now. So decked it all out myself inside. Yeah, let's show you around. Oh. So Dometic CRX80 fridge, very nice. It's literally big enough. It's big enough for me when I've lived in here. Freezer in the top, which is a nice little addition, and it runs really well off the solar panels. It doesn't dead the batteries, even when I've not been driving for like, I don't know, a week even. It still keeps running. And then SMEV 922, SMEV 922 cooker and sink. Standard really, just fantastic. That's run from one camping gas 907, but then I've got a spare one at the front there, both strapped in. And then talk about the battery system. I've got two 90 amp hour leisure batteries. They've got from the alternator, they charge from the alternator. They also charge from the solar panels on the roof. There's two 140 watt solar panels on the roof, which come down into the nice little fuse box up here, which is the front's off it for some reason. So that's the fuse box there. Then we've got the solar charge controller next to it, which basically that controls like the batteries don't overload basically, so it doesn't fry the batteries. That figures out when the batteries are full. Just gonna pop that there. And then we've got the e-dispatcher, the heater, the controls for that, that's all wired in as well. That's the inverter, which is down there behind the driver's seat, to get me my 240 volt power. And then various places, like there's one up here at the back of the bookshelf, so I can get it from the bed. And then there's another USB port down here, which you may or may not be able to see. Two 240 volt plugs in place, 4 LEDs on the roof, which are operated from this, and then you just touch to turn on like so, and then you can just knock them all back off. But I put them on a separate switch because they've got little blue lights, and the little blue lights I thought would annoy me, so I changed it. This is my drying line for when I've washed my clothes. The curtains that we see, so we've got them on both sides. I don't know if you can step in a little bit. Both sides, they're made by a company called Vanex. These are double thickness blackout curtains, so no light gets through them. The ones on the cab are single thickness because apparently, because they drop so low, the runners that they have can't take the weight. Couldn't then. They might have improved the design by now, but it doesn't bother me. A little bit of light comes through, it's not a big deal. And then yeah, over the back we've got the bed, which is just a bit smaller than a double. I find it quite comfortable. I'm 5'11" and I could just get across. Down here in this little storage cupboard, we've got the porta potty, and then obviously there's nothing much in it now because I'm not living in it right now. There's just a broom, but that's where I used to keep the snowboards, and it would carry on right through to the garage. So on the right hand side where the broom is now, my snowboards would go underneath. Pop back out there. Trying to think if there's anything else in the front. Oh yeah, we've got a fire alarm, carbon monoxide detector. These two little fans, which they're not actually mechanical fans, they're just by the wind, but you can let air in and out with the little vent thing. And then under the cupboard we've got these nice little LEDs, which keep it looking nice, right when you don't want the full spotlights on but you want a bit of light. And then two reading lights as well at the back over the bed. And then you're probably better to jump out for this. lagoon table leg with the table that just swivels round. It's really, really good because obviously you can move it around like that, which is really nice. And then if you don't want it at all, just unscrew it like that, lift it off, and then there's a little spot for it in the garage which I'll show you in a minute. This is the second bed, so you just slide it out like so, and then I've got a couple of little cushions. This one's actually the backrest for there, but I just forgot to put it on, I don't know why. So yeah, just goes down like that. Oh, you got yourself a nice little second bed. But I prefer to sit on it this way anyway, and then I can see the sunshine and the stars and stuff, depending on the time of day. Take you around to the garage now and show you the back. Oh no, actually there's one more bedroom, which is the hammock. Which is just it's bolted through the ribs of the roof. Two little eyelet hooks go straight through there. And then there's another one at the back. And you've got yourself a hammock, which is honestly one of my favourite places in the van. But you can also, usually with the back one, it's easier, tie it to a tree, tie one end to a tree and have one end from the van. But there's no useful trees to do that here, so I'm not going to demonstrate that. But that again, straight off. I normally shove it in the bag, but for the purposes of right now, you can just go back up there to the garage. So obviously, both the doors open really wide as a van. Oh, not when there's a tree there. I'm sorry, tree. Not when there's a tree there, as it goes. And then we've got this side. This is where I was saying that the snowboards went. So they just went down there, like in the bag. And then above we've got a shelf. Two more lights. Obviously there's one switched at this side, so you can turn it on from this side. And then there's one switch there, so you can turn it on from if you open this door at night and you need to get something out. My bicycle is on a nice tray for ease of access, so just slides out like that. Just nice and simple. Didn't want to buy a fancy tray, so I made one. And then you can just unscrew, it's just on wing nuts, just unscrew the wing nuts and it lifts out. I'm not going to lift it out though because it's sometimes quite difficult to get back in if I'm not in that mood. You may be wondering why there's insulation here. It's just so you can get to all the gubbins at the back, so that's why I've left that hole. Yeah, so on the subject of insulation, on the inside, I don't think there's a panel where I can show you, but on the inside, all the wall of the van is all the wall of the van has got SoundEd mat on by a company called, what are they called? I think it's called the SoundEd Shop UK. I'm not 100%, but Dodo Hex Dead mat or something, a Hex Dead mat, and it's basically on all of the panels in the van to keep the road noise down. And then after that we've got Dodo fleece, which is what I've just showed you then, that sort of insulation, which is made from recycled plastic bottles. And then on the ceiling and the floor there's just Celotex. I think it's inch or inch and a half insulation. You won't be able to see it because obviously it's under the floor. Don't think the cameraman was aware of that. So I realised I forgot to show you how to put the table away, or where it goes rather. Just open the door. And then it just slides in there like that. So it's just sat in on 2 little clips in that block. Nice and out of the way. I've not talked to you about storage either. This is obviously the electricity cupboard. Above here is, which it was just like a ordinary cupboard, and then whilst I was in Austria I made this because I wanted more. Well, that was inconsiderate. Whilst I was in Austria I made this out of scrap bits of wood because I wanted a bit more separation so I could get a few more things in. This is where I have books. That's, I've said gas, and then I didn't have that curb box, I had just loads of bits. This side is, the kettle doesn't usually live there, the bins, which just slide out. And then the water. And then 2 drawers, deep one, shallow one, both lock off so that they don't fly open when I'm driving. Bedside table, nice and handy. And then I've got 2 cupboards above the bed, which Chris is going to now sensibly film when I've closed them. Go ahead. Nice pretty little pictures. They're actually tea towels, those. And then obviously there's the little space at the top there, and then this little cupboard down here, which has a bit of a hanging rail on, but I never really used for hanging. I just had rucksacks and things like that in there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. See you later.